Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. This is next fifth or sixth lecture in the series. We have been doing defining ecology. Now these are the applications of the ecology. This is also termed as applied ecology or resource ecology. Ecology, whether of microbes, plants, animals, or man, is related to many other fields of biology like soil, medical sciences, engineering, demography, geology, geography. One gets confused in considering the applications of ecology uh, in relevance to human benefits. Ecology also provides information about the benefits of ecosystem and tells how can we use earth resources in ways that leave the environment healthy for future generation. Every aspect of nature ultimately serves the human being. Ecology is also considered as the science of the human welfare. It deals with everyday problems and functions of human activity within a specific environment. Everything we do is an ecological act. This means whatever is going on through the activity of the man, through the activity of the atmosphere, through the activity of the biological, physical agents, that is an action, ecological action, doing some influence somewhere. Some of the major applications of the ecological science are pointed out in this talk. Number one is the forestry and forest management. Pakistan has about or approximately 4%, someone says 5% forest cover, which is under heavy deforestation, terrace cultivation, and overgrazing pressure. The ecology of forest types, their environment, habitats, and their yield capacity must be known. Ecological methods determine the reproductive and regeneration capacity of preferred tree and shrub species. Silvicultural science deals with the germination, establishment, development, and reproduction of the forest trees that help in the reforestation or forestation of a vegetation area. Another aspect is the rangeland management. The term rangeland is locally called chiraga, varsho, shala, grazing land, pasture. The National Commission on Range Management defined rangeland as uncultivated areas that support natural or seeded herbaceous or shrubby vegetation with or without trees. Rangeland cannot be cultivated but used as a grazing land, pasture or grassland for grazing animals. They cannot be cultivated because of certain severe situation, non-availability of the water, the slope, the angle, or the soil type. Ecologically managed grasslands can support more animals than the degraded grazing land. In this way, healthy milking animals, breeding, meat, or fur might be maintained. Ecological efforts can help in improving rangelands. Nutritious species are maintained in the pasture for improving health of the animals. Controlled ecological techniques, exposure techniques, they are followed. Third area where ecology can help is the agroecology. Agroecology means agricultural ecology. Agricultural ecology or agroecosystems indicate the art ecology of the crop species, the time of cultivation, weeding, irrigation, type, amount, and time of application of fertilizers and harvest, or amount of harvest, amount of fertilizer, kind of fertilizer, and harvest that must be thoroughly worked out, and this can be done by ecological efforts. The physical and chemical features of the soil, its suitability to crop species must be known. A, a waterlogged soil has different chemical and physical setup than the non-waterlogged soil. Similarly, saline soils have their own capabilities and characteristics. So, therefore, there is a need to find suitable crop species, suitable uh, range species to cover that area. The ecology of saline agriculture provides information on type, degree of salinity, and type of salinity tolerance of crop species to the salinity. The ecological requirement of a rain-fed area and barani area differ from the irrigated area. One can see non-irrigated area, barani area means which are entirely depending upon rain. They need different kind of species, whether for rangeland, whether for cultivation, compared to the irrigated area. Ecology can help in recommending appropriate plants or species for a specific soil and climatic regions. Each climatic region has its own climatic and edaphic capabilities. So, based on that, one can recommend more suitable species. In fact, agronomic practices, weed management, fertility status, and requirement of crop all fall within the jurisdiction of ecology. Now we are coming to indicator species. What are indicator species? Indicator species are those species, those plants which have narrow range of tolerance with respect to their requirement to a certain essential habitat feature. They can be taken as indicator if a particular species is growing in a certain area, they indicate that this would be the situation or this would be the climatic or the soil conditions. Plants are confined to specific habitat, providing them their required needs. All such species whose presence or absence can predict certain features of the habitat are termed as indicator species because they indicate something, they indicate some ecological factor. Prostrate habit of grasses like Rhizopogon acari, Dichanthium and latum, Andropogon indicate impact of heavy grazing because these are tall species, maybe they can grow up to 3 feet, but under heavy grazing they become prostrate. So they indicate. Bushy form of Monotheca boxifolia, Gurgure, Acacia modesta, Phalai, Palosa, Ziziphus mauritiana, Bear, or other trees, shrubs indicate the influence of grazing, goats and sheep. One can see in areas where heavy grazing is going on, these Monotheca, which is a tree, Acacia modesta, which is a tree, Ziziphus, which is a tree, they become bushy with low height, maybe not more than 2 feet, and become cushion like. That is indicator that this area is being subjected or is under severe heavy grazing. The presence of Olea farrukhbotanyy indicates subtropical zone in Pakistan, while the presence of birch indicates a tree line in Pakistan. This means Olea is confined to a particular range from 2000 to 3000, sometimes 3500 feet. So if you say somebody tells you that Olea is there, Olea means olive, hono is there, you can safely say that the altitude can be like this. Subtropical region is there. If somebody says that I have collected this plant Betula, so that means the altitude would not be less than 9,000 feet by any means. 10 to 11,000 feet is there because this is generally the last tree on a tree line in Pakistan. So it indicates indicator species. Some species of equisetum are indicator of gold in the soil. Astragalus species indicates selenium and radioactive substances in the soil. Such information is achieved only through ecological knowledge about requirement of plant species and its habitat. Land use. Land use, this is an agricultural term, forestry term, but agriculture, forestry, they fall within the category of the ecology. So forests have been cleared for agricultural purposes. Lack of plant cover often accelerates erosion. Thick forest cover check forest thick forest cover generally checks erosion, maintains fertility, moisture, and provides shelter to wildlife, habitats to wildlife. The wise land use can also reduce ecological problems like erosion, water flow, degradation of the soil. The ecological knowledge can tell us about the land use capabilities for its proper use. Land use classification helps in the suitability of land for a particular crop species or a particular vegetation. Steep slopes, waterlogged, salted, or hard compact soils can be used for agroforestry rather than crop production. Land management. This is related to the reclaiming a soil or managing a land, managing a forest, managing any area for a certain need like cultivation, harvesting of crops, land use, preparation of area for reforestation or improving range quality. Successful and management together with the proper land use can help crop ecologist or the forest ecologist to get best possible yield out of the land. Land management requires application of ecological principles for controlling soil erosion, for promoting crop yield, since agroecosystems are artificial systems. Agroecosystem, that is agricultural systems, they are artificial systems. Therefore, the hazards associated with such artificial environments are to be reduced ecologically. Another aspect is the landscaping. Landscaping definitely helping in the planning of the towns, townships, or any similar activity. The planning and construction of modern cities, townships, buildings, roads need proper beautification and landscaping. Ecologists can do it. Planting and planning of ornamental and landscape plants need careful consideration. The ecological suitability of plants to a particular climate, indoor or outdoor, edaphic, topographic, availability of light and nutrients has to be worked out. Recently, I have been visiting the Mehmand Road going to Bajor. That is definitely barren area, dry area. So plants which have been planted there, all of them they have gone wilted and dried out because suitability of the species was not considered. So landscaping needs ecological help. Plants of Murray and Nathia Gali would be failure in Lahore, Multan, Mardan, Peshawar or vice versa because climatic situation is not suitable. So suitable plants have to be cultivated. Landscape ecology is gaining importance for various obvious reasons. One must look at the ecology of the species and its possible impact on human health. See the example of the paper mulberry, Browsonitia papyrifera, and the Conocarpus, which are fast growing but they cause allergies and they are invaders, they become invaders in the area. Soil conservation. Due to lack of ecological skills and management of soil utilization, the fertile lands have become unproductive. Conservation involves prevention of wastage of natural resource, specifically soil resource, water resource, air, plants and animals of that area. Soil conservation means the control of soil erosion to increase soil fertility and productivity. Soil can be conserved by planting suitable plants to reduce the soil erosion. For Cholistan, Thal, Thar, and Tharparkar, Sacrum, Leptidina, Haloxylon, Acacia jacquemontii are suitable for soil conservation. In the hilly areas of Galyat, Elenthus altissima has done well in Pakistan. Water erosion can be checked by constructing check dams on a small scale on hilly slope, plowing at right angles to the slope checks the flow of the water. Like soil conservation, we need to conserve the water. So water conservation is also very important. Increased population has promoted cultivation over vast area. This has caused depletion of water in the soil. At many places, water table has descended. Karages in Balochistan were once the major sources of irrigation and domestic water. These sources have dried up due to installation of deep wells, which extracted more water than the requirement. Such declining water table has affected the natural vegetation. Simultaneously, the areas devoid of vegetation started eroding by wind and water. Therefore, it is necessary to conserve, retain, and store water. During rainy season, surplus water generally goes unused, causing ecological problems. Dams and reservoirs are to be built to store water for efficient use and reduce soil erosion. Water pollution, waterlogging, salinities are serious ecological problems that can be minimized through ecological efforts. Another burning issue is the management of the wildlife, saving the wildlife. Wildlife ecology deals with the production, survival, and management of forest plants, animals, and habitat. Definitely, if you want to maintain animals, you have to maintain the forests, you have to maintain their food, you have to maintain their habitat. During the past few years, cruel killing, capturing, hunting of many beautiful or economically valuable birds and animals have drastically reduced their population. Some of them are at the verge of extinction. Such bioresources and gene resources must be protected for future generations. Their survival can be maintained by improving their habitats. In Pakistan, Himalayan ibex, Chiltan markhor, snow leopard, brown and black bears, langur, chinkara deer, nilgai, and udyar are protected by law, but they are lavishly killed. Among birds, monal peasants, hubara busters, various species of cranes, black partridges, brown partridges, chakor, and many other birds enjoy protection, but still they are being reduced, killed. Similarly, fisheries department is protecting the aquatic riverian fishes or animals through legislations. This is one example you can see, that is in the Balochistan. This is parts of Balochistan. One can see the brutal killing of the desert deers. How many deers they have been killed by this fellow. This again, these are the busters, Wara busters in Sindh, that is has been killed by some illegal hunters, which are said to be the sheikhs. And again, the license are issued for 1, 2, or 10 or 20, but these are more than 100 birds which have been killed, and the people are sitting there enjoying their hunt. Thank you very much for your kind attention.